there. Are you using Looker Studio or Google Analytics or maybe both, and you're trying to figure out how to connect the two? Well, I'm going to walk you through today how to connect Google Analytics 4 into Looker Studio to pull in certain metrics to really make your dashboards more accurate, have more data, and overall be more helpful for you. So my name is Carolyn O'Brien, and I help online business owners, course creators, service providers in the online space use data and marketing to make smarter decisions and help grow their business. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I wanted to show you is Google Analytics. So a couple years ago, they switched it to Google Analytics 4 from Universal Analytics. So that's kind of the first thing you want to make sure you're doing is you're using GA4. And so Google Analytics is an amazing tool, and I always say that it's probably the most accurate when it comes to page view data. And so that's one of the key data points that I like to pull into my Looker Studio dashboard when I'm building funnel dashboards or CEO dashboards or launch dashboards, is to really try to get the most accurate page view information. Some places like Kajabi or other course platforms, they will have their own page view data. I just tend to find it not as accurate as GA4. So I like using GA4 as my baseline whenever I'm looking at page view information. So the great thing about GA4 is that there's a lot of data, right? You can see overall website information, active users, event counts, new users. You can see different channel sessions and where users and traffic are coming from. You have all of these different reports, right? You have acquisition reports, where you can see user acquisition, and then you can see different engagement reports as well. So if I go to engagement and pages and screens, this will load, and then we can see the page and user information for all of the different pages on my website. So let me just wait and let this load. So here we have our pages and screen data. So you can see here that we're getting data in terms of views, for users, engagement for all of the different pages on my website. You can also add in certain things like host name. If you have multiple domains within one GA4 account, you can always distinguish by host name. So in this example, there's checkout pages from Thrivecart, and then there's website pages from Kajabi within one account because I just want to see them all together. Right, that traffic acquisition report. As this loads, you can just see where traffic is coming from. You can change date ranges, and in general, there's just a lot of information. So that's one of the drawbacks to using GA4 is if you're not going to get a specific piece of information, then it can be a bit overwhelming in terms of how much data there is, where to find that data. So that is why I like to use it as a vehicle to bring certain information over to Looker Studio. So if you go into Looker Studio and you're in a blank report, I'm just going to show you how to connect GA4 and then how to pull in certain pieces of information. So you're going to want to add data. And it's the second connector up here, Google Analytics. You're going to go to the Google Analytics property that you have access to that you want to add to this report. So you do have to make sure you have access to the GA4 account that you're connecting. And so now I can see, right, my GA4 account and all of the different metrics that are available. So there's a lot that you can bring over. And that's one of the pieces that I want to make sure you're aware of is use GA4 in Looker sparingly as it can fill in gaps in dashboards that you want to populate. So if you're building a funnel dashboard, right, bring in page view information from GA4. If you want to see traffic sources, bring that over into GA4. So I'm going to just show you an example. I'm going to just add in a scorecard for this example. And let's say I want to do views, right? This is a good kind of starting point. What this is going to default to is total views across my website for whatever time period that it has set up. So it's auto set to last 28 days. That's like a Google thing. It just defaults to last 28 days, but you can change it, right? You can change it to, let's just change it to this month to date, and it's not including today, right? So it's going to be excluding today, and that's 1263. So let's go over to this engagement overview, and I want to look at, right? So I have in here views. That's what I'm looking at. I'm just going to go to, let's change the date range, right? We want to do the 1st through the 20th of May, and these are the views here. So this 1.3 number, That's what's pulling in here, that 1.3. So now I want to show you for specific pages. So let's say that we wanted to only show the views for a specific page. So what I want to do is I'm going to add back in hostname so we can show you a specific example here. So I want to do the views for this courses site for the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to go and add a filter, create a filter, right? Because by default, it's pulling in the views for every page. And now I want to filter it out by views just for this slash courses, metricsuccess.com slash courses. So you're going to create a filter in two different ways. So the first one, I'm going to do the host name first. If you don't need to distinguish by host name, you can leave this part out. But I'm going to do host name equal to, and it's going to be www.metricsuccess.com, and that's what matches here. Now I need to also add a filter, and let's go back here, right? Page path and screen class. That's what I want to pull in here. So page path and screen class equal to, and it's going to be slash courses. And you do want to make sure that it is an exact match. So this is actually a new feature where it's self-filling it in, which is really nice. And you can select and choose from that drop down. It didn't used to have that. And this is set to or, so I want to set this to and. Now I'm going to save that. And let's make sure that our date range is accurate as well. And so we can see, right, views 27 for this month to date, excluding today. So now you're able to pull in views for a very specific page. So think about all of the different use cases you have where you're building on a funnel, you want to see sales page views, you want to see checkout page views, maybe tracking course progress, you want to see login page views to your course platform, library page views, all of these different things. As long as it's being pulled into GA4, you can pull it into Looker. So now you say, oh, I really just want to look at active users, right? Views is great too, but I really want to see active users. So what you would do here is you actually just want to change the metric. So you can search here, active users. So they have a couple different ways to pull this in. 1-day active users, 28-day active users, 30-day, 7-day. I'm going to do 7-day active users. To make sure that I'm going to rename this slash courses page. Save. Oh, and I actually just want to, sorry, I just want to use active users here. 6. So now we have 6 active users here, and that's pulling that in directly from GA4. So again, this is adding to the use cases that you have where you can use this type of integration. So now let's say a table, and I want to add in a table that basically is showing me a bunch of the different pages and views and users, almost replicating this, but just with the pieces of information that I want, because I really want to see where's the majority of traffic going to on my site, right? So what we're going to do in here is we're going to add in items to the dimension and metric, those two areas. So I want to do page path and screen class again, and I'm going to add that in here. So now that's going to be essentially replicating this right here. Now I have users, but I want to add in some more metrics, right? So I want to do views, and then maybe I also want to do like views per session. So now you're seeing for the pages on your website, what's most popular in terms of users, views per session. Again, you can change the date range to the auto date range or custom, and you can also sort it by different things. So this one's sorted by active users, you can sort it by views per session. So you can really add in a lot when it comes to tables that you're creating. Another way I like to use GA4 is if you want to see a map of users. So you can see here, there's different Google Maps. And right now it just defaults to country. Then I want to say, okay, I want to do the based on filled map in right here. And by default, it's setting it to views, right? But if you wanted to do users, you could do active users and bring that over, and then it will adjust. And you can hover over and get the information for active users as they're landing on your website. And again, you can do date ranges as well. So those are a couple different ways to use Google Analytics when it comes to Studio. You can, of course, also do like acquisition. So let me show you a table here So I'm gonna just actually adjust this table to show you what to do. So one of the things I find helpful is actually going into the GA4 platform when I'm doing this, seeing what information from here I want to bring over and exactly what it's called, because as you can see, there are so many options to get into Looker. So I want to do primary channel group. So I want to bring that over, session primary channel group. Okay, so here it is. So I'm going to bring that over into my dimension. I'm going to remove page path and screen class. And then you can see here, now I'm getting this traffic information, active users, view per session. If you wanted to bring over something like engagement rate, you could do that as well. And you could either add it to it or as well. So I'm just going to add it to it so you can see. And now you have the engagement rate based on this session primary channel grouping. So now I want to show you a couple of examples of how GA4 has been used, how I've used GA4 in custom dashboard builds. So here are a couple of examples. So this is an example, and all this data is actually coming directly from GA4, but I was able to build it out into a way. And this is just a screenshot. So that's why some of this is showing up as no data. I don't have access to this dashboard. It's a screenshot. I've removed any identifying information. This is all from GA4 to create a funnel dashboard. So total website visits, total users, new users. Again, I have a specific date range here. And then I'm looking at page view information for each step of the funnel and building in conversion data as well. And then to answer questions based on the data. So where are users based? And I'm bringing in country information. How are users finding you? I'm bringing in that traffic information and then any conversion value. And this could be calculated a couple different ways. You could build a calculated field in Looker. You could some of this in GA4 directly and kind of it up to capture purchase data. Another one, again, this is just a screenshot, an example, and I've removed any information, but this is another example of a funnel where I'm using GA4 to pull in a bunch of different page data. So I have like a data across 2 pages for this funnel. Then I have sales page users, and I'm combining GA4 data with Google data coming from a Google Sheet, right? So it's really building a funnel in a way that is more complete and a little bit more automated than having everything tracked manually. And then finally, this is like a website specific dashboard that I built where all of this data is coming from Google Analytics. So I have my map information, my users information, the traffic information of where those active users are coming from. And then I have a table with different conditional formatting on the popularity for each of the different pages for active users, views, and views per user. So hopefully this was helpful and gave you some ideas about how to use GA4, building dashboards, how to connect it, and how to pull that information in. If you're interested in templates or learning more, then check out the links below this video. Thanks.